Welcome back to the SMT Media Network. In today's video, we talk hoops, specifically the Boston Celtics. And I think I kind of understand where things are going, and I'm looking at kind of the two different ways that the Celtics could play this in the offseason. They've already moved on from Drew Holiday. They sent him packing, him and his salary, out to Portland for young talent and draft picks. They have moved on from Kristaps Porzingis. They shipped him off. Obviously, his salary moves. And, they return a player who I think is pretty good. And, obviously it's about the picks and it's about the future. But it's about offloading salary. This team's going to look really different next year. And more so, it's about 2027. What the Celtics are doing have nothing to do with next year, right? The Celtics are expecting a down year. It's a pullback in time. It's going to be a regression temporarily. And then the idea is Jason Tatum gets back with health, and they try to put a roster around him that's going to be conducive to them getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals and back to the finals within a very short time frame. And by short time frame, in the near term, we're talking about within a couple of years. So not next year, but 2 years from now, that's the conversation we're having. Now, in my opinion, anybody on the Celtics roster is fair game. And what I mean by that is any player who's on an expiring contract, who likely won't be re-signed. Anybody making money, they're looking to move on from them. That's what we've been seeing. Now, who's left and who's untouchable? Well, Jason Tatum's untouchable, technically. Everybody else, including Jaylen Brown, while Jaylen Brown may not be actively shopped, there's going to be calls on Jaylen Brown. And if the offer includes a package that does something better as a running mate for Jason Tatum, I think the Celtics could possibly trade Jaylen Brown. And who knows if it's something big enough. You might even trade Derrick White. I personally don't think the Celtics should trade either of those guys. I think it's really hard to get a guy like Jaylen Brown, who won the NBA Finals MVP just a couple of years ago, or I should say last year, right? And is a fantastic player. His peak Jaylen Brown still hasn't happened. There's a version of him this year that takes a step forward as a leader, as an offensive playmaker, as a scorer, those kind of things. Derrick White is still getting better. He's a fantastic two-way player. Very nice combination as a guard to defend, perimeter defend, block shots. And then, he's coming along offensively. His shot has become very reliable, especially from three-point range. To me, I think you retain those guys, but the Celtics will explore. If the package returned is better than some combination of Jaylen Brown and Derrick White, they have to entertain it. So this roster will look completely different next year. It will look completely different in 2 years when the Jason Tatum return is upon us, and hopefully he's healthy and back to 100%, from a very serious Achilles tear, right? And then they can kind of move forward with their franchise. I'm not saying Jaylen Brown's going to get traded. In fact, I think if he's going to get traded, the return has to be immense. And this goes along with Derrick White as well. I think if you're trading him, you have to get a very nice return also. And then if you're packaging those two guys, the haul is going to be crazy, right? So while I don't think it's likely either of these guys are traded, it's possible they could be. And then this roster would be completely overhauled. And actually, if you think about it, the cupboard's not bare. Right, they are with talent. The Celtics have talent. They're just looking to make sure they put the right pieces around Jason Tatum. Because if you look at last season, that team didn't look like they were ready to make a championship run. Something was awry. I think there's some coaching and philosophy changes that could change, and maybe it has to do with the player personnel, maybe. But that thing is about to change too. So I think a fair expectation for the Celtics is guys are getting shopped. Guys could get moved. Those options are all out on the table. And I don't think there's anything that, we can't say is out of the realm of possibilities. These guys could get moved. They could be shipped out. They could stay. We don't know. But the return is going to have to be big for the supporting cast core of the Celtics. Let me know what you guys think the Celtics should do. Should they move on from Jaylen Brown and or Derrick White and get just incredible returns and just reconstruct this whole thing? Or should they maintain this core three and then just build around that? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Welcome down below. Appreciate you guys for watching this one. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon on the next one.